Today in the video you will see Grandma Survival. This is Ultimate Survivors Stories. Ann Rodges, 72 years old of Tucson, Arizona, was reported missing on March 31, 2016 by her family. After taking a few wrong turns on a remote dirt road in eastern Arizona, she ran out of fuel. To worsen the situation, she was out of range on her cell phone. Rodgers made the right move on night one of her situation, staying with her car. She had extra clothing for warmth, and some snacks and water for sustenance. On the second day, however, she made a decision which has killed many people over the past century. She left the vehicle to look for help. Had she stayed with the vehicle, as you should do according to Survival Guide, her ordeal would have been shortened by several days, since local police found the abandoned car on April 3rd.
I think really key advice for people who are driving across deserts in their cars, just remember, if you ever break down, don't leave your vehicle and try and walk off to get help, because there's so many stories of people doing that, and they set off and they think, it's only 5 miles to the nearest town and I can take a shortcut from the map, and if I cut across the desert here, I'll find the town. And they totally underestimate how debilitating the real heat is. And then, they either are never found or their corpse is found, days later. So the advice is, if you break down, stay with your car. Get in the shade outside of the car. You can move around as the sun moves, but stay with the vehicle and try and flag down help.
But aside from this major blunder, Rodgers showed remarkable skill and tenacity. Each night, she built a fire for warmth. She drank pond water for hydration. She even found edible plants along the way and a turtle which she roasted and ate for nourishment. Each of these skills, she claimed to have learned from a survival class and her continued research on the topic of desert survival. Rodgers told the authorities that she was angry with them at one point, since help hadn't come. She said she was frustrated, but she knew there were people who cared enough to make sure somebody found her. But it wasn't because local authorities weren't trying. The local sheriff's department and the Department of Public Safety were looking for her with man trackers, scent dogs, and aircraft. But again, Rodgers' know-how came into play. She had made a large help sign from sticks and rocks, which a DPS pilot spotted on the 9th day of her predicament. Rescue helicopter pilot was quoted saying that he was completely shocked. Up to that point, he thought they were looking for a body. He didn't expect to find her alive. After the helicopter set down and picked her up, Rodgers was flown to a local hospital and soon released.
I have been doing survival training skills for a very long time. I'm a very avid reader as well. And I have lived in Tucson for many, many years, so I learned a lot about the plants, vegetation that are edible, the ones that are toxic, the ones that you might want to get high on, but I would rather not. And
wise.
Right. So that's how I knew what plants to eat along the river. And my dog discovered even more, was eating clover, which really surprised me for a dog to be doing. But she'd chomp it on down and then she'd run off and find something else to chomp on. So she was quite the forager.